we're very excited because we're almost done. We're in the final line of this third term, so I hope you're ready to finish it with a big work. So today we're going to talk about a subject or a matter that you might be hearing pretty much all your high school career, but we're going to go into more depth of this subject and give it a little more of a structure. And we're going to be talking about the essay. It's probably that for the rest of your university career, depending on the career that you choose, you're going to have to write a lot of essays. So let's try to break it down into very simple and concrete points so you can get the full idea of them. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to define what an essay is. And generally, we talk about a piece of writing that gives the author's own argument or point of view, okay? We can classify them in formal and in informal. And the formal essays have the characteristic to be very serious, to have a logical organization, they're very long, and they have a very strong purpose, okay, point of view. The informal essay has the characteristic to be a little bit more personal, maybe a little bit more of a rambling structure. They have some sort of humor, they're more on the relaxed side. When we talk about an academic essay, we mean that we are going to write coherent ideas to build up into an argument, okay? The essays are pretty much linear, so you offer one idea at a time, and they must be presented in a certain order so it makes sense. To the reader. Structuring an essay, it's a little bit simple because it goes from your logic to the reader's logic. Okay, the main focus of an essay is to dictate the information that the reader needs to know in the order that you want them to know. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The essay structure is necessarily unique, and it will represent your own claims. And even though there are some guidelines to construct certain classic types of essays, there is not a strict formula of how you're going to write an essay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the type of essays. We're going to start with the narrative essay, and as the name says, here the writer narrates an incident or a story through the essay. Okay, in this type of essay, you describe an event in order to always illustrate a key point to the reader. So you're going to use descriptive words. You're going to be more subjective than objective. You're going to write from the first or third person's point of view. I mean, you're going to write about an experience of your own or experience of someone else. And you are going to be more in the entertaining or informative side of the story, okay? Then we have the descriptive essay, and here the writer will describe a place, an object, an event, or maybe even a memory, okay? But this is not just describing the thing. You need to paint a picture for the reader to see and feel what you're writing, okay? You can evoke sense in order to the reader to be able to connect to the moment that you're trying to describe, okay? The expository essays, it's the essay where the writer presents a study of a topic, and here you're going to describe or explain this topic to the reader. So usually you use facts in your information, you write from the third person's point of view, and you don't require a formal argument at itself, but you need a topic that you're going to talk about. In the persuasive essay, your purpose is to get the reader on your side of the argument. So you're going to present here a fact about some sort of topic, and your job is to convince the reader that your argument is the correct. Okay, so here you're going to need a lot of research and a lot of investigation of the topic. You are going to need a strong thesis, a strong argument that is debatable. You're going to consider the refutes of those arguments, and you're going to need to cite evidence, statistics, and facts, and you're going to be very objective with your language so the reader can understand the topic. Like I said, there is not a set formula of how to write an essay, but there's some sort of a structure that you must follow to write an essay. So the first thing that your essay must have, it's an introduction. This first paragraph of your essay is where you introduce the topic for the very first time to the reader. You can give like a synopsis, a brief summary of your essay, and this paragraph shouldn't be more long than 4 or 6 lines, okay? You can get creative in the introduction of your essay, and this will ensure that you can hook the reader and get into your essay, okay? You can draw their attention to the essay. You can start with a quote, sometimes you can even start with a definition, or other interesting strategies so the reader can start a question and gets wondering what you're going to talk about. Then you have the body, okay? This is your essay, okay? The body is the meat of your essay sandwich between the introduction and the conclusion. So it's vital that it has important content, okay? This cannot be confined to just one paragraph, okay? You can extend as much as you need according to the content. Okay, we have a lot of information and you need to find a way to don't make it so deep but still be interesting and deliver all the information that the reader will need to understand your point of view, okay? So when you're doing this, when you're working on your body, be chronological, be in order, present one idea at a time. Each paragraph should have one central idea. You should focus on just that idea and explain it to the reader. After you're done with your body, remember, you're not just contained to 1 or 2 paragraphs. Take all the paragraphs that you need in order to explain your idea. After that, it comes the conclusion. And this is the last paragraph of your essay, okay? Sometimes the conclusions could be a mirror of the introductory paragraph, but make sure that you're not using the same words, okay? Try to be different here. The conclusion, it's a great place to summarize the story or the argument. You can provide moral or wrapping to a certain story, and the conclusion needs to give closure to the reader. You cannot leave any loose ends here, okay? All the answers should be, all the questions should be answered by this paragraph, okay? You're just gonna give that last close to your story. To find a way to do your essay, you can start by answering these 3 questions. What, how, and why. The first question that you need to think about when you're writing an essay is what? What evidence shows that that phenomenon described by your thesis is true? What facts says that your theory is the right one to go? Okay, here you need to balance your ideas in order to give concrete answers to the reader, okay? The how. A reader also wants to know how you came to this conclusion. I mean, how does this thesis that you're presenting stands up for a challenge or for a contra-argument? How does the introduction of new material affect the claims that you're making? The essay needs to include at least one how section. I mean, a section where you explain how do you get to this conclusion. This section usually comes after the what, but keep in mind that an essay might complicate its argument several times depending on the length. So maybe you will have to answer these questions more than once. And the why, it's also another question that the readers will have. Like, what does your interpretation of a phenomenon matter to anyone besides you? This question takes a lot of implications on your thesis or your argument or your topic or your idea that you're trying to present, and it allows the reader to understand your essay in a bigger context, okay? Your why, it's your reasoning, okay? The answer to your why is your reasoning. Your essay explains its own significance. I mean, why you're writing this essay, why this should matter to me, why should I read it, why it's important to me to know this information, okay? So it's very important that you answer this question, because otherwise the reader will feel that the essay is unfinished, or maybe that it has no point to exist. So be very careful with your why, your how, and your what. I will leave you a couple of links as usual, so you can understand better this topic and have a little bit more of tips and tools of how to write a very effective essay, a good essay, a great essay. So the first two links are links to website that gives you like basic steps, how to write effective essays, incredible introductions, and how to hook your readers into your essays and to giving them a reason to read your essay. And the other two links are from YouTube videos that give you a step-by-step of how to write an essay, okay? How to write a good essay and how to answer the questions that I just gave you before. Remember that if you have any questions or comments, you can contact me through the Hangouts application. You can leave me a comment on the Google Classroom, or you can send me an email. Remember that I am always eager to know about you and how you are. And remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. See you in the next class, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.